Coach, just kind of overall thoughts on the scrimmage, making sure the offense won, they get a few extra drives there at the end?
I don't know what you're talking about, Jamie. I was just kind of putting the ball and seeing what happened, and lots of fun. You know, I think these guys deserve this day. They gave us 14 really, really hard practices, and it was really fun to see, and, you know, just see a lot of guys and how far they've come in the last 14 and see where we can take them here and beyond. It was always, you know, punch, counter punch, the takeaways early, the offense resilience, and even some of our 3s and 4s going out there and making some plays at the end was really fun to see.
If you had to give the juice today, who would be getting it?
Oh, man.
Who were kind of the standouts?
I mean, I just have to go with Zion Nunley at the end making the last big play. And, man, defensively, you know, there's a bunch of picks. So whoever had all those, you know, I would give it to those guys. Defense as a whole really started fast, and it was really good to see.
You know, talking about that a little bit, you know, the defense was kind of rolling in a lot of scenarios, but it just seemed that they didn't really have an answer for Cam.
Yeah.
You know, kind of for you, is it kind of, you know, finding a good balance or being happy with that balance that the defense got their victories, but, you know, the offense, especially with Cam, got theirs too?
You know, I think that's a big part of it. You know, you want some successes as you get to this point, and we're very vanilla today, so just getting back to some base things that our guys are really, really comfortable with. And you can just tell Cam is comfortable, and I think we got a lot of talent around him to just give him the ball and watch him work, and the defensive guys just, you know, staying with it and making sure we're getting back to that mindset of taking the ball away, and when we do that and we can get the lead, we can start the pass rush and attack on some people.
That Ryan Leaf throw was a little embarrassing.
You said that, not me. I did not say, well, hey, it's just a pleasure having Ryan back. You know, I think, you know, we had the QB Classic yesterday, and I got an opportunity to spend some time with past coaches and players, and my biggest message is I want to bring the family back together. You know, it was great to see, you know, some old linemen on, you know, on the sideline and just getting those guys around and having Coach Doba at the coin toss. You know, those are things that really mean a lot to our guys. You know, Luke Falk still has it. I mean, we saw that. So, you know, I'm proud of Ryan and the support that he gives us and what he's done. So, you know, I think that's a big part of it.
You know, and then just what's kind of now for you guys, for the coaches, you know, off to the recruiting trail now?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take a couple days. I always love before we hit the road to make sure we get some personal meetings with our guys, you know, tell them what they've done well, where they need to improve, what the summer is going to look like. And, you know, I'll sit down personally with each and every one of them, and then we're out recruiting. It's a big time, you know, and we know in Pullman, Washington, here at Washington State, seeing these guys in person is going to be a big deal. So that's where our coaches are headed towards now.
The stuff with Ryan and Luke Falk, was that impromptu, or did you guys plan that, or just happen?
Oh, it's impromptu, Colton. You know, I mean, just get him out there. He probably wasn't warmed up and ready to go just yet, so we put him on the spot. But it was it's a fun part of the spring game. You know, having some past meet the future and just enjoying this experience.
Did you have any things kind of quota, like we want to see, like highlight, we want to see these guys this amount of times and run this kind of play this amount of times?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a little bit high in the rep count in the first half, you know, but at the end of the day, we wanted to get a certain number with a bunch of guys, and then even as the scrimmage was going, I was pulling guys myself. I was like, we've seen enough. Let's make sure we get healthy. Let's get them to the summer, and, you know, like I said, it's a lot of hard work to get to this point, and, you know, just happy for our guys that had a chance to go out there and make plays and really show who they are. You know, because even some of those guys at the bottom of the roster, they worked their tails off for this football team. And I'm just proud of those guys going out there and making plays and showing what they can do as well.
And I know that you know, the secondary and receiving core has been kind of one for evaluation. Was it a little difficult to get a gauge on them just with some of the guys sidelined and mixing and matching pieces?
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of the spring. We just had some little, you know, nicks and knacks, and I thought, you know, same thing, we're fighting for consistency at wide receiver, and I think you saw that again today. Who can we count on in the big moments? And even though this isn't a packed house like we'll have during the season, it just shows it's a game day environment and who can focus and make those plays. And at defensive back, we're still young, and we're making young mistakes, and I'd rather learn from those right now than during the season. So that's kind of where we're at, and we'll keep evaluating and learning from it.
Did you have a position group that was maybe, you know, from first unit to the deep reserves was, you know, real consistent, or maybe the most consistent group today?
Well, you know, I'm just proud of our offensive line. You know, I think we had 9 guys going into the scrimmage. I think they all held up well. Even some of the sacks were just some, you know, we got to get the ball out sacks. So I've been proud of that group, and just kind of where they've been from day one to now. We're taking strides, and we've asked them to change techniques and mindsets and trying to find mix and matching combinations. I'm just proud of that group and the way they really fought hard through spring.
Was there a handful of guys that it's hard to kind of keep track when you're watching. But was there some guys that you're just like, all right, you're established, play one series and get out of here?
Yeah, I was surprised to see Armani Marsh playing 2 series. I thought we talked about that. I was like, let's get him out. But no, I think we had some snap counts, and RJ and BJ were on some snap counts, and it's good. That's what the spring game's about. Those guys have plenty of reps. Like I said, I know when the lights turn on what we're going to get out of those guys, and I think that's exciting. That's where they're at their career. But all 3 guys I mentioned improved this spring, especially BJ. I'm just excited. He's finally healthy. I think he's ready to maximize this year.
Coach, I just some observations. Some of the players returning veterans. It looks like they put on a few pounds there. Especially, I don't know if Brennan Jackson. He looks substantially bigger. I don't know if you would say. I mean, that defensive line, especially. Do you think they could be, a force to be reckoned with in the Pac-12?
We need to be. We return really every major piece from our defensive front, and it's amazing. Even some of those guys like Gabe Lopez during the course of 15 practices gained weight. That's a tip of the cap to our strength and conditioning, a tip of the cap to our nutrition staff, and our guys being mature enough to understand that that's a major part of their development. So I'm proud of our defensive front. The Coach Ward's done an amazing job cutting those guys loose a little bit and allowing them to make a little bit more plays, and I think throughout the course of spring, we've really seen that.
Coach, just one more for you. This kind of setting, you get the 3s and the 4s in and a lot of reps, and then you get guys like, Jacob Scobus had a few pass breakups and a handful of tackles. Hudson Cedarland, we saw what he could do really for the first time as a freshman. I mean, for you guys as coaches, do you kind of look at some of the film of this and say, wow, we had seen this from this guy before, and that's something to monitor going into the season and beyond?
That's exactly right, because we're going to count on some of these young guys. And I tell them that all the time, Jamie. They're only 1 snap away. And I'm really glad that you mentioned Huddy. He's one of those guys. He's long. He should, like I said, he should be in prom this weekend. And he's here, and he's enjoying himself. And his ceiling is really, really high. And we're just really proud of him. And I think he's a guy that, potentially could get into the mix at linebacker as we go throughout the season. So as many seasoned reps as we can give those guys, the better.